Great. Great. お願いします。
お願いします。
Okay, good. Okay, we'll just loosen up a little bit. Yeah. Right, okay, go front and back. Great, side to side. Okay, rotating. Taking it to a wave. Good. Okay, just rolling down the spine. Okay. Bit by bit. Just a few up and down. At the bottom, just let the arms come over the head. Just moving the spine side to side. Breathe the arms back down. Bend in the knees. Okay, just take it to the head, stomach lift. And change in direction. Rolling the neck. Bend the shoulders. Good. Rolling forwards. Stretching out, rolling the front and back. And the elbows. Engaging. On the wrists. You're making fists, just coiling the hands. Changing. Coming from the forearm, the elbow. And changing direction. And just open out, bringing the shoulder. Changing direction. Great. And taking the elbows out to the back. Good. Taking the fists over to the side and stretching them out. Back working to the side. And then just taking a little bit of a spiral to the back toe. Working both sides. Great, so loosen out the arms for the hips. And rolling them up. And change it. Okay, we'll circle the whole body. Changing direction. And bringing the knees together. And then straighten. Sinking down, spreading the knees. Stretching back. Circling. Changing direction. Good. Okay, spreading out. Just bend and straighten. Coming down. Chin back the knees. And roll them out. Change direction. Pushing out further, dropping them to hips. Loosen them out a little bit. hands on the knees, spreading away, looking over the shoulder. Reaching one hand down to the ankle, pinning the elbow into the knee. Chin up the opposite hand. Changing sides. What's that? Great. And just loosen up the legs at the side. Hold it on one leg. Changing over. One more time. You're dropping low and toes up. Bring the legs out wide. Hands out in front, dropping the forearms down. Relax the upper body. Okay, just taking the knee down inside. And into the hip. Chin back. Okay, holding at the top. Looking over the tail to start. Changing the leg. Good, hands on the knees, looking over. Good, bringing the knees back, stepping hips down. Hands down, relax the hips. Forward into the hands. Opening, closing the shoulders. Squeezing them together, spreading them away. Keeping the elbow straight. Okay.
Excuse me, Michael, what are you doing?
Oh, sorry again.
What are you
Oh, this
doing?
one. I'm doing this with the shoulder blade. Oh, this is probably easier from the back. I'm closing them and then opening them out, spreading them. So closing them and then opening them, spreading away.
Ah, thanks. I have an idea. Yes.
Got it. The easiest thing is think about you've got a ball in the back of the shoulder blade. You're just kind of squeezing it. And then I'm boom, opening them out, squeezing them together, boom, opening them out.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, good. That's that one. Okay, good. Good. Okay, then just from that, bringing the knees up, bring the knees up, stretch up into the shoulders. Again, just walking with the feet, stretching out the back of the calves. Good, stretch, hold it for a little bit. Good, walking the hands into the feet. Let the body relax forward. Relax the knees. To the top. And just shoulder width apart, just kicking to a swing. That's the whole body swinging down. Relax the shoulders. Keep the length in the spine. Dynamic movement. Okay, great. Just shaking the wrist at the top. Front and back. Straightening out the legs. Shaking the body. Taking a nice deep breath in, bring yourself up into tension. Creating fists, tension, everything. And really sit towards the ground. More tension up. Nice deep breath in. One more time. Tension everything. Deep breath in. Okay, perfect. Take a walk in. Good. Great. Just take it into the first group, but just dropping the cut. So just swing it through, drop the whole way to the body. Step back. And dropping. Okay, good. Just placing the sword out. With this one, just keep the front fingers, the front two fingers, nice and loose. So you're just focusing on the back of the grip. No power in it, just placing into it. So you just get a feeling sitting into the back of the hand. So just placing it down, just let the sword kind of sit into it. So bringing the back grip on, keeping the front loose, basically splitting the grip. Just focus on the back. You want to feel that the sword's kind of caught in the hands. Just play with one thing here. It's not so much the grip's important, but it's what it also does to the connection to the shoulders as well. So just play with this from this position. So you're in the cutting position. Play with squeezing the back of the grip, the back two fingers, and then play with from that position squeezing the front of the grip, and just see what happens. Feel what happens in the shoulders as you do it. So you go from the front two fingers to the back two fingers, front two fingers to the back two fingers. Just feel what happens. The key things, feel what's happening down the arm, and especially feel what's happening in the shoulder. and by extension, what's happening through the back of, through the core of the body. But just see if you can feel what happens, especially when you activate different parts of the grip. You can make this really fine and go to the fingers, individual fingers. But the key one's this back and front of the grip. And really fully squeeze it as well. So squeeze it on tight, 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 tight. Release it, go to the back. Tight, 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 tight. So.
Yeah, definitely feels the fingers at the back connect it into the back of the body.
Right. Yeah. So what I feel with this is like, if I really do, I remember it reminds me of a science experiment we did at school with like a conduction bar or something. And it was like the electricity goes through it and the whole grip tightens up. So the whole body goes into tension, but especially the front of the body and the bicep was like this. So you can't let go of the stick. So everything goes into tension. So this reminds me of this when I go into the front of the grip, I feel all this tension go up here and it goes into the front of the shoulder. And if I really tighten it, I feel the shoulders want to kind of raise and start to close. And that's like the opposite of what we want with the strike, because if you think about that kind of movement, closing the body, it works everything against what we're kind of looking for, which is this like grounded, expanded kind of body. So I feel with the back is that the front of the shoulder especially can loosen, and that the back comes on. So this part of the shoulders basically drops in. So that whole part of the body basically drops down, which feeds into what we're kind of looking for with this is the grounded. And this is kind of room. Just look for that now. There. It's also a very similar feeling if you think about when you grab someone like in a Morotodori grip, that same thing. If I grab them like this, which is really fragile, if I grab them like this, which is really rooted. But also the other thing is this gives me flexibility. So because the shoulder's now open and I'm just kind of rooted into the ground, it gives me flexibility in the arms. If I go to that, it feels kind of strong, but it's actually kind of weak because I'm basically locked. I've locked the body up and I'm very easy to kind of manipulate in terms of if I'm grabbing someone. So what you're looking for here with the sword as well is that kind of flexibility. So I can keep that open, but I can actually keep the sword really secure and strong. So, and then just take this back in. So just coming back up to the top, really release the grip. And that release the grip, so you've got a really clear contrast as well. The grip's released, and then just fixing into the front of it. And just again, just keep the front there. Although it's going to come into, it's going to kind of seal onto the weapon. Think about the back stays strong. So the front's still quite soft and supple, because I don't want to start to activate the front of it. So this is the problem when we go into the cutting, we start to activate the whole hand, and basically pulls the shoulders up and forward. So just so that you can kind of drop it in and get that kind of connection. We're looking for this kind of strong but supple connection, especially through the shoulders, down into the back, into the hips. So play with that, sealing the connection. That. So try and keep the front a little bit soft. And the other one that for us is a kind of for balancing as well is focus now on the left hand more than the right. So this tends to be a problem for most of us because we're right-handed as well, and that the right hand's in front. So what tends to happen during the cuts, that the right starts to activate more, and by doing that, it pulls me out of the back, and then you end up with this classic kind of split at the back, and you get this kind of motion. So just play with it, keeping the front hand soft. You've obviously not got power in the cut because the hands aren't kind of snapping together. But just focus on really that the right hand just kind of leads and follows into that movement. And the main thing to feel is that the hand's just settling back into the shoulder, that the arm's settling into the shoulder, and that it's not being pushed forward and splitting out of it. So just focus now on the left, coming into position, and the right just stays soft. just guides the sword down, and it just adds a little bit of pressure at the top. But it's not now pushing out that way. Just let it sink, settle, focusing on the left, and focusing on settling around in the shoulders again. So. Great. Good. Start to come into the cut. What I want you to really focus on is the kind of draining in the elbow. So when you do it, bring the hands into it, but focus on the elbows kind of draining into the ground. So imagine like a weight on the elbow, pulling them down, dropping them in the structure. Pulling them down, dropping in. Pulling them down, dropping in. So think of basically as the knees start to open and drop in, as the elbows are dropping in as well. So make a connection. The body, seal the grip, focusing on the elbows, raising, dropping, raising, dropping. So, good. Good. Perfect. Take it into a Zengo. So you're really focused now on this kind of release through it. So as you go from the focus, release it, mobilize, find the focus. Release it, mobilize, find the focus. So you're practicing the whole body, basically releasing, finding that motive, finding the rotation, and finding the focus. Hey, Serena. Oh.
Hi, Michael.
Hello, Isabel.
My backpack.
Oh my God, where are you going? I'm nervous.
It's going to a booth.
Yeah, okay. just watch with this movement. Although it's possible, and I don't say this is wrong because it's not, because sometimes it's useful and I do it also. But when you do this, just watch for the sword coming to the back in this one. The problem with this movement, it tends to split the movement into two. So I start to come into this and then this, come to this. The worst thing that can happen with this is also pulls me out, and then I go into it. So I'm actually then practicing basically ungrounding myself and then coming out into it, ungrounding, coming into it. So play with this one. Basically, this is one movement. So when you come up to it, just go to the top of the head. This is one movement in. So feel that that whole rotation basically grounding the body in, and then I use that pressure to arc the sword into it. So this pressure, this, rather than that and then that. So just play with this as basically one movement. It's a release and then up into an arc. This into this. This into this. So just play with it softly so that you can basically keep the ground underneath the movement all the time. So the hips want to kind of be in the ground all the time. But the problem's how to keep that as you're mobilizing. That's the kind of main problem with this. That's it. Is that? That's it. Great. Okay, take this to 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒿 just on the spot. Do the same issue, how to release the hip and make this one movement now. So this to this. So again, this can go easy into two moves. I come to the top, and then I can take. Sometimes useful to do, but see if you can get this as one motion. Motion. And that's why it's really useful to do on the spot because I'm basically grounded in the foot. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm just focusing on spiraling the sword up, dropping it in, spiraling up, dropping it in. And just naturally let the cut follow the hip. It's going to start to open out into your 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒿. One continuous motion of the hip, driving in, dropping in. So. So there's two places I really want to avoid with this movement. So really think about grounding and centering the sword in the body. So the two I want to avoid is this. The first one is coming to the back this way. So allowing the sword to go over the top of the head and then kind of circle around the top of the head. This is really, if I go to here, I'm basically disconnecting the shoulders. So the shoulders disconnect and then I'm asking them through the cut to try and reconnect. And this is kind of the shoulders really in a bad position. The other one is where I go just to the front of the body this way, and the shoulders never really mobilize. They're just kind of stuck, and the movement's very small, and it's very hard to, in this case, pass the weight of the body into the weapon because I'm not really centered the cut. It's just kind of hanging in front of me. So look for something that's in the middle where you just find the top of the head, and I find that the shoulders are open, but that the sword's grounded in the body. So look for really the position where the sword is centered in the center, centered in the middle of the body, and the shoulders are open. So you're mobilizing everything, but centering it in the body. But just watch these two extremes go to the back or cutting it short to the front. You want to be something in the middle. So, you want to kind of hang the sword in the structure, at the top of the cut. That's good. So just play with one exercise. This is, you're just going to work with one shomen and then yokomenuchi. The main thing here is to feel the difference in the connections. You're a little bit further extended away from the body with the yokomenuchi. So do the exercise like this. You find a shomenuchi and then release it to the back, to the front. And then from here, you rotate. You're just going to do one side each time. Right side shomenuchi and then left side yokomen with a step. So you're just kind of holding shomenuchi, this is close to the body here, and then yokomenuchi, this starts to open out. So it starts to be open, the connection out. So shomen here tight to the body, and then yokomen a little bit further extended out. Just play with it. Shomen, release it, yokomen. Turn, shomen, release it, yokomen. Just slightly different in position. Slightly further extended away from the body. It's a little bit harder to center the weapon in the extension. Good. Good. And then just play it on the other side. So you've got to start with the left side, shomenuchi, and then right side, yokomen, and then rotate. Left side shomenuchi, right side yokomen. Again, just look at the difference between the extension here, which is close to the body, and the yokomen further away. So the center needs to be really active on the sword, especially with the yokomen. Good. And then we'll just do a set for the 7th. So with the ski. So just start this with the 𝒂𝒂𝒿. So come into the back, coming up to the back here, and then drop into a 𝒂𝒂𝒿. And then from here you go into the ski this way. And then from here, just to keep this set going, you rotate to the back, slice to the rear. And then you're stepping each time. 𝒂𝒂𝒿, ski. Roll to the back, slice, release it, 𝒂𝒂𝒿, ski. Slice, 𝒂𝒂𝒿, ski. Slice, 𝒂𝒂𝒿, ski. And repeat. So the difficult move is this kind of rotation with the slice. So one of the problems with this is because I'm really far away from the body in terms of the extension with this one. What tends to happen is I lock the connection. So as I go into it, because I'm here, what tends to happen is this. The body just locks out. So I focus on the spiral and nothing happens here. I basically just lock that connection together, which is not a bad tactic in terms of connection. Just lock it in and move the body. But look for something a bit more flexible where you've got the connection, but it's supple this way. So it's like the connection's able to breathe through that rotation, and that's what I mean basically with the Aikido. Because if I'm stiff during a rotation, I just end up pulling the person around. So I take a connection and then I roll the whole body, but I just pull them because that connection's there. But what I need is something a little bit softer this way, so it becomes a little bit. The connection becomes supple with the center. So just play that. The last few you do it this, get to that position, but then let the body flex through that connection. So the grip needs to really soften, and I soften the front of the body, and you rotate through. But difficult because the connection is really extended from the body. Nice. Yeah, well, watch one thing. One thing's now there's a solution to this. It's a bit of a cheat. Watch this. It goes here, and then I do this. I release it, and then I hit it out. I release it, and then I hit it out. So my solution to it is don't have an extension, just collapse it and then bring it out this way. I cheat the flexibility because I basically close the body, set it out, close the body. What you're looking for is something a bit more supple, so it's this kind of motion. So my extension actually stays, but the extension stays flexible. So if you think about this, it's the difference between that, and that. This is much something else. So just the last few. But for that, but there's a kind of spiral running through it, but it's not the case you kind of drop the extension and then push it out again. So you're actually all the time you're extended from the body, but it's just allowed to rotate. The last few, just play with it. But the body is really good at coming up with solutions which are kind of cheats. So it's quite annoying. But yeah, perfect. That's the. In this kind of flexing through the connection, we actually do it all the time. In the very first 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒂, you're doing it from this position. So this flex of the extension up through the cut, this, and then finding it. So it would be like the same analogies like this. I do this, or I do this, or you do this. So that flexible one is the one you want. And the only difference with this movement is that you're just rotating through it. So the sword's doing a different motion, different function, but that quality of the body is the same as that kind of movement. It's the same. It's the same kind of movement if you go through it that way. So that's pretty much it. So we do it all the time, basically. This setup, it's just the body difference, the difference in the body. Okay, good, got it. Okay, good, right, we'll bow up. That's the, yeah, very good. Yeah. Right. どうもありがとうございます。
どうもありがとうございました。
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, thank you, Michael.